Welcome, Phillips Magnet News. Leaders don't just watch history, they make it happen. Huddle up.
Hello, Phillips Scholars, and hello, Chili. Thank you so much for coming here today to interview me. I feel honored.
Hello, Mrs. Jones. I'm so happy to be here with you, and I've got lots of questions to ask you today. Asked questions because they wanted to know about being a principal. Ronaldo, Gladys, Zaraya, Diego O, Eduardo, Cristobal, Ashanti, Gerardo, Gianna, Jordan, Landon, Juan, and Zoe all asked questions about being a principal.
Wow, that's a lot of questions about being a principal. I had no idea you were all so curious. Well, let me start with some of those. How did I get this job? Well, I had to interview. I had to go through quite a few interviews. First off, I had to apply for the job. Then I had to be called in for an interview. And I had about 3 different interviews before getting this job. It was quite challenging. Um, have I always wanted to be a principal? No. I was a teacher for many, many years, and I think I was one of those teachers that said I would never be a principal. And look where I am now. Yes, I wanted to be Phillips principal because I love the things that are happening at Phillips School. And when I talked to Mr. Manning about this school, I got so excited that I knew I needed to apply for this job. Yes, I've been a principal at some other schools. I was at Vichy as their principal before coming to this school. And then before that, I was an assistant principal at Harvest Middle School. So great questions about being a principal. Oh, and what's the hardest thing about being a principal? Some days there's good days and some days there's bad days, just like any job you do. But the best part of having this job is being in the classroom with you and watching your learning and watching you grow. That's why I love this job.
Hey, Sebastian and Noel, want to know if you live in Napa?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, I live here in Napa. I live in North Napa, closer to Yountville. And I've lived in Napa for about 20, no, I guess closer to 30 years. I was trying to think of how old my oldest son was to do the math.
Wait, you've got a son? Zahira wants to know about your family. Can you tell us all about them?
Oh, I love nothing more than telling you about my kids. I have 2 kids, 2 boys. My oldest son, his name is Alex, and this is him when he graduated from college. He went to Gonzaga University. And this is my youngest son, and his name is Zachary, and he played football for UC Davis. Both of them are a lot older than that now. Alex is 27 and Zach just turned 26 on Super Bowl Sunday.
Next, we also have lots of questions from kids about your life growing up. Yuretsi wants to know, where did you grow up?
Oh, I grew up not far from Napa. I grew up in Marin County in a town named Greenbrae. And I went to a school named Greenbrae Elementary School, which sadly is closed down now and doesn't exist anymore.
Here's another important question from Justin. He asked, have you always wanted to be a principal? And is there a job that you'd like to have? A different one than being a principal?
You know, Justin, I knew when I was in middle school that I wanted to be a teacher. So I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. And I told you, I didn't ever think I would be a principal, but I'm super glad that I am. And as for another job, Actually, I've always thought it would be super cool to be a mailman or mail person who delivers mail to people, like walks from house to house and puts mail, because I love to go for walks. So I always thought that that would be a really cool job to have. I don't want to drive the car. I want to walk.
Junior wants to know, how did you feel when you first met the Phillips students?
Junior, I love every day I meet new Phillips students. I just wish I could remember everybody's names, and it's so hard now that we are all wearing masks because sometimes I can't recognize people. So I long for the day when we don't have any masks and I get to know you all by name.
Okay, I've got a great question for Brianna. She wants to know if you played with Barbies when you were a kid.
Brianna, I love that question about Barbies. I actually used to have some Barbies, and they were called the Sunshine Family. And it was a whole family. And there was a mom and a dad, and they had a baby, and they owned a natural food store. So I had the natural food store, and of course, I had the camper. And I loved to play with the Sunshine Family Barbie dolls that I had.
Elber wants to know if you have a favorite leadership habit.
Wow, that is a great question. My favorite leadership habit, I think, as I'm getting to know them better, I think my favorite one so far is seek first to understand, then to be understood. I just think that really applies to what I do, and how important it is to listen and learn from people before just assuming that you know everything. I really like that leadership skill.
And Zion wants to know if you went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, actually, Zion, I didn't get to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think a whole lot of people got to go to the Super Bowl this year. Someday I'd love to go to the Super Bowl. Who knows?
And I've got a great question from Tulia. She wants to know if you know who Jojo Siwa is, and if you have a favorite blanket, and if you have a Jojo Siwa blanket.
Tulia, yes, I do know who Jojo Siwa is. I don't have any of her blankets, but when I was little, I used to suck my thumb, and my favorite part of the blanket was the satin part, and I used to rub it underneath my nose. So I don't have any Jojo Siwa blankets. Maybe someday you can show me yours. All right. There are so many more questions, that I think we might have to do this again so that I can answer some more of them. Maybe next time Phil can join us. Have a great week, scholars. I'll see you around.
That's right. Come back next week, friends, and Mrs. Jones will answer more of your questions. If you still have questions, ask your teacher where to send them.